Hi there. Today I thought I would show you how to customize Xubuntu 18.04. This is a beta 2 version, which should look the same. The point of showing you this is that when you install Xubuntu, it may not be fully to your liking in terms of how the panel is laid out and how the icons arranged, the type of wallpaper. You want it to ergonomically work for you. So I normally make several changes, and this is just to give you some ideas on how to make those changes. So I'll just begin here with starting with the wallpaper. We'll just start there. Right click on the desktop, left click to desktop settings, and we'll just start with a different wallpaper. We'll go with that. Click close. So now you have a very different looking wallpaper. Matter of fact, I'm going to tone that down because I think it's a little on the bright side for me at this point. So we're going to go with showing you the night sky. And now what I'm going to do is move this top panel to the left. So right click on that panel and then hover down to the panel column there, then left click on panel preferences, and then I want to unlock the panel, as you can see here, and you'll notice it says horizontal. We're going to switch that to vertical. Now you see it on the far left. And now what I want to do is widen the row or the thickness of the panel to 50. We'll just say 50. I'm actually using as long as I click on this, I can use my arrow key to enlarge it. Otherwise you can slide it with your mouse. Now I'm going to lock the panel. I don't want to automatically hide the panel, so it's set for never. And now, as you can see, I have various items that are not to my liking either. I need to basically reverse the order here. So if you'll notice, you have this display tab engage, you have appearance, and then your items tab. And what I'm going to do is try to reverse most of this. So we'll start at the top, use the arrow key down. You'll notice the top arrow is grayed out because you can't go any further than the top, and that's your whisker menu. So you want to use the arrow key. I'm going to bring it down to the bottom, and I'm going to bring the Windows buttons, bring those down, just basically reversing most everything at this point. Let's try this like this, and I'm going to bring this clock up to the top because we're going to change that. What else? Power. Bring that up. And plug in. We're going to bring that up. Let's see what else. Separator. We'll leave that for now. We're just going to make various changes. This is the beginning of those changes. Now what I'm going to do is, you'll notice that these, this is called your Windows buttons, but they're long vertical panels. We want them to be short little stubby squares. So you just click on the Windows button, and then you have the ability to edit here. So you click on the edit icon, and we want to change it to not show button labels. So uncheck that, and you'll notice how it's changed the icons. Now they're more to my liking, the way I want to see them. This, by the way, hidden here, or this is my simple screen recorder, which is recording this video here. So that has to be there at this point. So basically I'm done here. Close that out. And we'll come back to changing more of this as I add other panels. So I'm going to click close, and now you'll notice there's your panel on the left. Now we're going to add another panel. So you right click on the panel again, go to the panel column, go to panel preferences, and we're just going to click add, and we're going to get to the right or left of this edge, and you're going to drag it. My suggestion is try to center it. You'll most likely on your display you'll have the brand name of your display. Use that as a guide to centering the panel, and it kind of, you'll notice it kind of locks into place too, right in that area. So once you kind of feel where it's centered, then you can just let it go. I'm going to add, make it size 50 also. Now this panel I'm going to also lock, but I want it to be to intelligently hide. So if you're maximizing an application to full screen, the panel will auto hide, and that's the intent for why it says intelligently. Now we're going to be adding things here as well. So let's see. Oh, also the transparency of this panel, I want to bring it down to about 35, and I'll show you afterwards the reason for some of this. And that's under the Appearance tab. Then go to the right. Now we're going to add some things to this panel. I want to add the action button. I'm going to add a directory menu. Let's see what else. Places. And well, for now we're going to move some of this stuff around. So we'll add the trash can. And I think I'm just going to add this other, go back up to the top. I'm going to add an application menu, but I'm going to be moving these elsewhere. It's just trying to create trying to expedite this video as best I can. So I'm adding extra that I'm actually going to move to another panel. Okay, so we'll start there. I'm going to hit close and close again. Well, actually, we're going to add the other another panel. So you'll notice that the first panel was 0. The panel down at the bottom becomes 1. Now I'm going to add panel 2, which is, I guess you could say, panel 3. And it brings it, it brings it over here. Get to the edge of it, drag it. This goes in the far corner. Now, also let me go back. I'm going to hit the first tab, which is display. And this panel we're going to lock, but we also we're going to make it vertical. So you can lock it before or after you change it to vertical, either way. So you can lock it, either before or after. You're switching it to vertical. This I want to hide always, this particular panel. And I'm going to increase the size to 50 also. And basically I'm done there. So now what I want to do is this application menu, which is here, I'm going to put it over here on the far right in this panel. You can right click right on it, left click move, and you notice the cursor has it attached as I'm moving it. You want to get to where you hover over the end of the panel, you'll see a line that's telling you it sees it. Just click on it and you have the menu there. Now I'm also going to get rid of the way it looks isn't quite the way I want it to look. So you right click on that panel, left click properties, and now we just want to, you're going to uncheck title button, click close, and now you just get the icon itself without any title. And then for now we're going to move the trash can. Let's see, where do I want to put the trash can? Yeah, we'll leave it there for now. I'm going to move this to the far right. So right click on this. Actually, this is the action buttons. And left click, we're going to move it to the end, right there where you see the line, red line. And now I'm also going to right click on this. This is actually the name of my, that I've given this my identity, I guess you could say. I just make different names up. Anyway, on the action button, you right click on it, left click properties. Now what we're going to do is change the session menu into action buttons. And you'll notice that all of these have populated into action buttons. We're also going to uncheck show confirmation dialog. I don't want confirmation when I click on the buttons. I want them just to execute with one click, or to minimize the amount of clicking to initiate a task. And then I only want to keep 2 of the action buttons in this panel. So a few things I'm going to uncheck: unswitch users. I'm going to get rid of a separator. The only 2 that I want here is going to be suspend and restart. So let's see. Okay, we have suspend. I'm going to uncheck shutdown, uncheck separator, log out. So the only 2 I want to keep in here are suspend and restart, and that's for me, my purposes. I prefer to have these 2 buttons here on this panel. I'm going to duplicate this on the right panel, but I'm going to add the other functions I want for the right. So we're done here. So I'm going to close it. Now I can just hover over to this panel, right click on the panel, add new items. Now we're going to add more action buttons. Left click on that, add, and then you'll notice you'll see the text there. That's just, let me close this now. So now I can hover over the identity of my name here. Hover over that thing, right click on it, left click properties. They're action buttons, I guess. So that's a session menu. We're going to change those to buttons again. We're going to uncheck confirmation dialog, and I only want 2 other different buttons there. So I'm going to uncheck the ones I don't want. Come down here. I want shutdown and log out, and there's 2 log outs. The bottom log out, I think, gives you a one-click log out, so I'm going to use the bottom log out. You can experiment, try the one above, but I believe it's the bottom one that you need to use if you're going to do it in this example. Click close, and as you'll see, here they are here. And now I want to reshuffle this, so right click on the top on the application menu, click move, and we're going to bring it down to the bottom, just like that. So I'm slowly populating different functions or icons into the panels, as you can see here. Matter of fact, I'm going to take the trash can and we're going to move that. And here you got to kind of watch. Well, why is that coming up? Oh, I know why. We'll just do it like that. Here, let's minimize that again. Essentially, I want to put that down here, but for now, I don't know if I can move this or not, because this is simple screen recorder. Let's see if this will move below it. And it's a little funky right now because of simple screen recorder. I'm recording this, so we'll leave it like that for now. And then the very top panel is going to be the clock. So here's the clock in a vertical fashion. We want to make it horizontal, and we're going to move it over here. So I'm going to add the 4th panel. Right click on the panel, come down, hover to the panel. We're going panel preferences, and now we're adding the 3rd panel, which is actually the 4th. Come over to the panel, drag it to the center. There's a few areas where it'll just kind of lock. So try to center it with the one below. This one I'm going to change the length all the way to 1 because I'm just adding the clock here and maybe one other item. We're going to lock it. We're going to increase the size to, we'll go to 85. And we want to automatically hide this, or we're going to intelligently hide it. And that's about it. So close that out. Now it's dark there, but you can basically see the panel there. Now I'm going to grab this the clock and the date, right click on it, left click move. You'll see that the line it's telling you it sees it. Left click, just click to attach it. Notice how things started moved up here. Now we're going to right click on that, left click properties, and you're going to change the layout digital to LCD. Notice there, now the clock though is in 24-hour clock mode. Uncheck the 24-hour clock, and I want to flash the time separator, so click that, close. Now you have your clock. And then I'm going to add some function keys or activity keys, and I'm going to move that over here for a few reasons. So just right click on that, left click move, and bring it to the right where you see the line, left click, and now you have that there. And basically that's just a short tutorial on showing you how to customize your panels. If you do want to add more, there's several ways to add additional items. You can go in here, you can actually right click on an item, and then notice that you have the ability to add to panel. When you go to click add to panel, it's going to give you the first panel as your choice, which is 0 here. If you go to the drop down, you'll have the additional panels laid here. So you choose which panel you want, click add, and it'll populate right onto that panel without having to drag it over. I was just showing you that there's probably 2 or 3 ways to move your panels around. That's a second way. Let me cancel that, close that. And then I guess what I'll try to do quickly here, I'm running out of time, is to change a few other cosmetic situations or examples. One would be the appearance. I like Adwada dark, so I'm going to switch over to that. And so everything's going to be in a dark theme. And we're going to leave, you may have to change the elementary, if you want to use elementary. I think you might even have to go to darkest. Let's see, does that do it? Close. I believe so. You have to play with that. No, darkest makes that dark, so you don't want that. You have to pay attention to what changes occur when you do make these incremental changes. So I'll go back into the settings, go into appearance, go to icons, and let's see if we can get this right the way we want it. Yeah, I think that's probably it. We'll go with darker for now. And then fonts, play with your fonts. I increase them to 11. These are default fonts. Let's see what else. Close. Oh, also, if you click in the start menu, you can click on your settings again, and we're going to go into Windows Manager, and I'm going to change to the default. With this dark theme, I want to go with the default. It brings it to this type of checkbox, this type of setup. If you hover over it, you'll actually see the changes of what you're doing, and I just think it looks better. So, and then I also changed the font here, the size of the font to 11. You can go to 12, whatever works for your particular eyesight. You can play around with the theme here. This is kind of the way I like it. And what else can I show you? So let me just show you. So when you do click on, we'll just open up Ristretto Image Viewer. So if I maximize it, you'll notice that the clock and the panel below will disappear. And there you go. So you can hover over it to bring it out if you want to see the clock or time. Of course, if you click here, you have your calendar. But if you minimize it, you'll see that they're there. So it's pretty nifty. At least I think so. And this was my attempt at showing you a few suggestions or ideas on how to set this up. So I hope I'm able to help some of you with Xubuntu. It's actually one of the best Ubuntu distros in terms of nimbleness or efficiency and customization. It doesn't use a lot of memory. It's one of the lighter versions of Ubuntu, and I still think one of the better ones. So thanks for watching, and keep playing with Linux. Thanks.